This video is how to show how to run a lottery as a super admin, as only super admins have this permission. First, you're going to go into the lottery module and click on Manage Cutoff Numbers. This is where you can enter in your target numbers, and this has to be done prior to running a lottery. I'd recommend first searching for optional schools and clicking Show Programs. When you do this, all of the optional schools will appear. From here, you can go through and mark each grade at a certain school with the number of seats available. And you can go and through this and do this for every school. Make sure you save cutoff numbers when done. Also, you'll want to make sure that you do this for every program category that you are running the lottery for. For the optional application process, you'll see the optional schools, charter schools, and non-optional schools. So I suggest running or inputting the cutoff number for each of those categories. As a reminder, if you would like to create just a waiting list, make sure you enter in a 0 in this box. As a reminder, it cannot be left blank or the lottery will not run for that grade, but 0 meaning that there's 0 seats available and it'll just create a waiting list. Also, before you run the lottery, after you save your cutoff numbers, you can go into Settings, go into Lottery, and you can unselect the email lottery results and show lottery results on the parent dashboard until you have reviewed your lottery. So I can go ahead and click Save at the bottom. And then I can go back into the lottery module. From here, now I'm ready to go ahead and execute a lottery run. I'll go into the Run Lottery section. Begin date and cutoff date is the date in which your applications are submitted, so that range. So if I only wanted to include applications that were submitted in January of this year, I can go ahead and go January 1, 2020, or just till today's date, which is the 13th, and select it there. You'll be doing normally your begin date for whenever you're accepting applications to the deadline to be placed in the lottery. You can also change the time if needed to any time during the day. Merge, you'll always want to keep this box checked. If this box is not checked, every lottery run can create separate list for each school, so you'll want to keep that checked. Sorting, you'll always want to keep this as random. This will randomize students within their priority group, so random is going to use those priority groups that we have set up. Save waiting list, you can keep this checked. If this is unchecked, then it will not create a waiting list, so any students that have not been placed on the selected list would not be saved to a waiting list, so we'll always want to have this checked. Choices, this is if I'm only wanting to run students who have selected a school for their first choice, you can select it here. Otherwise, you can select all choices and then enter in your password that you use to log into the system. Programs to include. If you're running a lottery at the same time for all the optional application process, the easiest way to do this is to search for categories. You can search for optional schools first, and then you'll want to select them all. Once I have selected them all, I can move them over using the green arrow. And then I'll want to search for charter schools. At this time, I can do the same thing by selecting them all and moving them over, and non-optional schools. Once I have selected them all and moved them all over, all my schools in the optional application process are listed below. I can also uncheck 11th and 12th grade if at the time you are not running 11th and 12th grade and will be running it at a later date. So I'll go ahead and check all of them except 11th and 12th, and then I'll click Run Lottery for selected programs. I'll then get a message to make sure you're sure. I can press OK, and at that time all the lotteries will be run. Once all the lotteries have been run, it'll be redirect me to my View Lottery Runs page. At this point, you'll be able to see all of the schools that you have run the lottery for, and then you can click View to go into that list of schools, or that school's lottery list. From here, I can see if any are on the selected list, waiting list, and so on.